Gator Dave, welcome in here, sir, to the CUSA 2026 College Football Preview. How you doing?
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. We're doing Kusa. Kusa. So very exciting, Mike. Goodness gracious. Um, this is 3 nights in a row that we broadcast. We're breaking records as we roll along here. Now the countdown's less than 2 weeks away now, right? So a week from last night, or 2 weeks away from last night. So we got the real thing happening. So want to remind everybody, we're Bets Utopia, your number one location for all things sports betting. I'm Gator Dave. That's Miami Mike. Don't forget our live shows on Wednesday night. And if we pop up some other time, we're here to help. Podcasts rolling right after live shows on Spotify and Apple and all your podcast locations. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you know when we are up. So tonight, like Mike said, we're going to talk about Conference USA. Um, Mike, they've crowned 4 different champions in 4 years, and last year, we're happy to say, the home team, Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State captured the 2025 title to win Coosa. 19-15 victory over Jacksonville State at Amherst Stadium. So pretty exciting. We'll see how they do this year. So are we ready to kick it off, Mike?
Ready to roll?
All right, man. So we're starting with Delaware Blue Hens. So Delaware Blue Hens, I have them coming in, Mike, at 7-5. So they're only in their second season in FBS. Um, they compete again this year, and some say they could be there at the end. And I think that's a strong possibility because we know there's going to be some losses in Coosa. And a 7-5 or 8-4 can right get you in that conference championship. So I think they do have a chance. Offensive tackle Jack Small is from Duke. They grabbed him. He's going to shore up that offensive line. Quarterback Nick Munakuchi. Last year he was 3,600 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Not too shabby. So I think they got a good quarterback there and a good chance. They returned 66% of their production. Their power ranking is 99th, talent at 132, and strength of schedule at 101. So Mike, I'm with the with some of the ones that are thinking a little bit that they've got a chance here, and I'm going to go that one over what DraftKings says and say 7-5. What do you think?
Yeah, I got them going 9-3. I got them as the number 2 seed here in the CUSA conference, playing in that conference championship there at the end. Pretty favorable schedule when it comes down to it. I got them going 7-1 in conference play. They do have a couple tough non-conference games, including at Vanderbilt and at Virginia. And I think they do fall short in those. But when you look at this team, one of the most experienced in all of the country, the most experienced in the CUSA. A lot of returning starters, a lot of returning offensive production, as you mentioned. I think Delaware is going to be able to get it rolling this year. I think this is sort of when they put their stamp on the FBS and let them know that they have arrived. So I got them at 9-3.
So, Mike, if you've got them at 9-3 and I've got them at 7-5, this might be worth some pizza money on these guys, possibly. You know,
We may have to relook at this one, yeah.
what you think? I mean, this one might need to be on the list, the infamous list. So, all right. Next up, let's go down south to Florida International. The Golden Panthers, I've got a Mike coming in at 7-5 as well. We got a wide receiver named Greg Gaines. That's he's probably one of the best G6 receivers out there. Last year he had 1,018 yards, 15.7 a catch. Pretty dang good for a receiver. Surprised he didn't get scarfed up by someone. Offensive line returned 4 starters, which bodes well. On the defensive side, they added a defensive end from Ole Miss, DJ Holmes, should help on the defensive side of things. Not to mention, they do return 66% of their production. Their power ranking is 90th, talent at 91, and strength of schedule at 125. So they've got a pretty respectable schedule, or a decent schedule to get through. So I think they're going to do relatively well, and I'm going to give them 7-5. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, 7 returning starters for this squad, led by Willie Simmons, the former FAMU head coach. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be able to get this team rolling. FIU is one of those schools historically, they do not have a ton of funding. As we know, Pitbull is the new owner of their football stadium. Pitbull Stadium is where they play their home games. So that definitely helped a little bit in the NIL department, but they are still lacking quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see if Willie Simmons ends up staying here at this school after this year, or if he kind of leapfrogs into another position. They got a quarterback, J.J. Cole, coming in from App State. He had 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last year, over 1,400 yards in just 6 starts. So it'll be interesting to see if he can sort of replicate that. I like this team a lot. More so, again, I like the coach. I think this team finds a way to get to 7-5 as well, and gets above that 6-win mark on DraftKings and finds their way into another bowl game.
All right, we're right there on that one. So next up, we got Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Mike, I've got them coming in at 8-4. So they've got a new offensive coordinator, Taylor Housewright. He inherits a roster that is actually pretty decent on the offensive side of the ball, and definitely can contend in Conference USA. They got a quarterback, Caden Creel, who who's a really good runner. He threw for 1,500 yards and 9 TDs, but he loves to run the ball, and that's kind of where he makes his money. So that offense should have a little bit of firepower behind it. If they can get him to pass the ball a little bit more effectively and more often, I think they've got a chance to have a pretty decent record and come in around that 8-4. The good part is they've got almost 70%. They got 69% of their production coming back. Their power ranking is 76, which is pretty good for Conference USA. Talent at 99, and strength of schedule at 130. So again, a favorable schedule in that situation. So Mike, I've got them at 8-4, going one over what we've got there at DraftKings.
Yeah, I have him 8-4 as well. You mentioned Caden Creel, the quarterback. He does love to run the football. He had over 1,000 yards on the ground last year. Jacksonville State, between him and the running back that they lost, both were over 1,000 yards. They love to get it on the ground and run the football. The second most experienced team here in the CUSA, behind that Delaware program we just talked about. Pretty favorable schedule also. They got to open at North Dakota State against those Bison, but after that, pretty favorable stretch to wrap it all up. They do have to go to Delaware for the final game of the season, so that could be a big, big matchup here in this conference in terms of potential championship berth. But I'm with you. I got them at 8-4. I got them over that 7-win mark, and I expect pretty good things from this Jacksonville State squad this year.
All right, next we've got the home team, Mike. We've got Kennesaw State Owls. They won the conference last year, and I think their record was like 8-4. It wasn't like just tearing it up. So in this conference, 8-4 can get you in there. I don't think they're going to reach 8-4, Mike. I'm thinking 7-5. Jerry Mack comes back. They they really won on defense. They didn't have that much of an exciting offensive side of the ball, and what little they had is almost a total redo on the offensive side as well. So that's going to keep the point margin down. Um, Defensive line, lots of experience, upperclassmen. They got a safety from the portal, Tony Williams from UCF, that's going to really help in the back of that defense, and I think that continues to be their forte on the defensive side of the ball. They got four players that are looking that they're looking at for quarterback right now, and don't even know who it's going to be. And most of the guys are from the portal, from the FCS level. So just don't know where that thing's going to go. That's what makes me think that 7-5 is probably the best they can do. I mean, I'm still one above what DraftKings says. So they do return 67% of their total production. A lot, most of that's on the defensive side. Their power rankings 96, talent at 130, which is not good, and strength of schedule at 119. So Mike, I've got him. Maybe I'm being a homer here, but I got him at 7-5.
Yeah, I got them at 6-6. I got them finding a way into a bowl game after that championship win last year. They were 9-3 going into that conference
Okay.
championship game. Ended up beating Jacksonville State, and then got mollywopped by Western Michigan in the bowl game, 41-6. They lost a good bit of their offensive production. Amari Odom, their quarterback, Ben Yard, a couple other guys. So it'll be interesting to see what they do on that side of the ball. I totally agree on the defense. I think this is going to be one of those situations where they're going to have to rely pretty heavily on that side of the football in order to win some games. But as we know, defense wins championships. You mentioned the quarterback battle. There's a guy that came in from Syracuse who's the projected starter right now. His name's Ricky Collins. Really struggled with his accuracy and turning the ball over in his opportunities at Syracuse. Just 6 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, under 60% completion. So if he does get the rock, it'll be interesting to see what he does with it. But like you mentioned, there are a couple other guys waiting, chomping at the bit at his heels. If he makes those errors, it'll be interesting to see how quick Jerry Mack pulls that leash and makes a change. But I do like Jerry Mack as a coach. I think this year he's going to struggle a little bit, but I look for the Kennesaw State Owls to bounce back next year, and I do look for them to make another bowl game this year.
One thing we talked about last year is how much we liked that coach, and I know we talked about it after the season, that we were both pretty surprised that he didn't get another job,
Yeah.
because Conference USA is they're pretty low on even the group of 6 side of things, and it really, I was amazed that he didn't get another opportunity.
I mean,
And I know for a fact
he took a team
I,
that
da- I
went
doubt they
2
had
and 10,
money. So
2-10 before he got there. 5-6 2 years before that, 3-6 the year before that. Took him to a championship, 10-win season. I mean, yeah, we were both totally surprised that
yeah.
he's still coming back here. But we'll see if he's there next year. He could be a hot
Hey,
commodity.
it might be a good thing, and they get 7-8 wins. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it is Conference USA, so we'll see how things roll. Just a lot of question marks, right?
A lot of midweek action, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And we got to get over there. I got the schedule right here. Nirvana got pulled it out of the paper or at some publication, some magazine we got. So
there you go.
She wants to go. She wants to go to a game. We got to get to one for sure.
Hey, Liberty at home, Jacksonville State at home, Delaware at home, FIU at home,
Yeah.
Georgia State at home. Those are 5. Those are 5 games right there that should be pretty competitive. So got some good ones
Exactly. And
to
hell,
choose
maybe
from.
we catch the middle of the week.
There you go. Maybe do a live
All right.
stream, huh? What are we talking?
Exactly. Hey, here we go.
Bring it
All
back from the Georgia Florida days.
That's right. That's right. And we need to talk about a Georgia Florida live stream this year since we're home technically. at
That's a good point.
Mercedes-Benz. So
That's a good point.
at Mercedes-Benz. All right. Next up, we have the Liberty Flames, Mike. Last year, Jamie Chadwell and team, they were 4-8, Mike. But guess what? I got them going 9-3 and winning Conference USA. Like Jamie Chadwell, he's in his fourth year with his team. Um, he's got it going on. Last year was a rough year. He actually had health issues last year and was off the field for some of the games and some of the practices. So I think that drug him down a bit because this guy's a good coach. Now the problem here is they only returned 43% of their snap count, which is not that great. They got Cam Davis out of Florida State as a running back. They got Makia Jackson, a wide receiver out of Indiana, which is good. They returned all four of their O-line starters, or basically 4 out of 5, right? Which is going to be huge. They haven't named a quarterback yet, so they got a couple of journeymen rolling in there. So the last I heard, they haven't gotten it. They do have a relatively favorable schedule this year. They do have to play Sling Blade Billy in a game on the road. They don't have to play Jacksonville State, and they do have to play Western Kentucky at home. Again, veteran coaching staff. I think they recover from last year, and I think they're going to win the. I think they're going to win Conference USA, and I got them at 9-3, Mike.
Yep, I'm gonna raise you here. I got him at 10-2. I'm with you. I'm all in here on Jamie Chadwell. I agree. He's a great coach. The biggest acquisition for me in this offseason is their running back Kanye Udo from Army. Dude is an absolute workhorse. Averages almost 6 yards a carry, and they're gonna need him because they lost a guy named Evan Dickens who was their leading running back last year. 16 touchdowns. 1,300 yards, so they're going to need to replace that production on that side of the ball. You mentioned the quarterback situation. I think it's looking like it's going to be Deshaun Purdy, which they need. I mean, one of their biggest issues last year was throwing the football. They had a lot of turnovers that they shouldn't have had with Ethan Vasco. I think it was 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, so a lot of inconsistency there from that position. If they can hone that up, I think the sky's the limit for this Liberty team. And I agree with you. I do think they end up winning the whole thing this year in terms of the conference. And we could be looking at them as a potential playoff team when it's all said and done. I think they'll be right there in that running. So I'm right there with you.
Awesome. I've heard that name, Sean Purdy.
Yeah, he was at he was at Wake
Charlotte.
Forest. He was at Wake Forest last year,
Wake
and then he was at
Forest.
Charlotte
Oh, Wake
before
Forest
that.
last year. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I knew I'd heard the name. All right, cool. All right. Let's see. Next we go up to one of the teams that are gonna have a tough year, I think. Middle Tennessee State University Blue Raiders.
Yeah.
This is another one of those teams that has basically I've heard in the media where they've come out and said they don't have a lot of resources, don't have a lot of money committed to the old football program. Unfortunately, our old friend who I like, who I believe he's was a defensive coordinator and then a coach at Vanderbilt, Derek Mason is the coach there. He's 6-17 in his 2 years there and got no resources. So got a feeling this will be his last year and he'll probably go somewhere, hopefully into a really good team and be a defensive coordinator. But the Blue Raiders return least experienced team in the conference. Only 49% of their production, power ranking 128, talent at 127, schedule 116. It's going to be a rough year. I got them at 3-9, going under the DraftKings number, Mike.
Yep. I again am right there with you. I got them at 3-9 as well. You mentioned Derek Mason. Something I want to point out about him. He is probably the one of the worst coaches when it comes to playing off a bye week. He has never won a game coming off a bye week. At Middle Tennessee State in his first 2 years, he's 0-4 in his career as a head coach, 0-15. I think that's going to continue to be a recurring issue this year because guess who they got off a bye? Delaware. So it's going to be an uphill battle for them. They got to go to Marshall, to Kansas, to Jacksonville State, to Liberty. A lot of tough games. Western Kentucky at home. They chose that one as their homecoming. Not so sure that that was the wisest decision here for the Blue Raiders. Unfortunately, I am wearing their colors tonight, but I don't think it's going to help them very much. So I'm with you. I got them at 3-9, going below that 4-win DraftKings mark.
All right. Next up, we have Missouri State Bears. So the Bears last year, they came in at 7-6 in their FBS debut. So they rolled in to FCS from FBS and were 7-6, which is pretty darn good. But let me tell you, it ain't gonna happen this year, my friend. I got them at 4-8. They are one total darn rebuild. They got a new head coach in Casey Woods from SMU as a coordinator. They couldn't play a spring game, Mike, because they didn't have enough players specifically on the old line. So they couldn't do a spring game. They only returned 52% of their production. Power ranking 112, talent 125, strength of schedule 81st, which is pretty rough for this group. 4-8, not going to be a good year as Mr. Woods comes in to his new team. What do you think?
Yeah, that's probably one of the worst position groups to have the least amount of depth in terms of the offensive line. And I'm with you. I got them at 2-10 this year. I have them taking a major step back. More so because of anything is their schedule. I mean, in terms of CUSA, it is pretty brutal. The luck of the draw that they got at Texas A&M to open, Marshall at home, at SMU, at Western Kentucky, at Delaware, at FIU, at Jacksonville State. Oh yeah, and then to wrap it up, they're going to play Liberty at home, who we both mentioned is our favorite for the CUSA championship. So I think it's going to be a brutal one here for the Bears. We'll see what Casey Woods can do after a year or two under his belt. I do think he's a pretty decent recruiter. I don't think he just had a whole lot of time. And again, when we're talking these group of six programs, we mentioned it a few times now that we've talked about some of these other conferences. Resources are a huge thing. And when you're going against some of these other schools in terms of competition and facilities, now money, it's a really strong uphill battle. And I think that they're going to experience that this go around. So I got faith that he'll be able to turn them around next year, maybe get them back to a bowl game, but I don't think they have any shot this year, unfortunately.
All right. Well, Mike, next up we have the New Mexico State Aggies. So, Aggies come in ranked 11th in all of G6, and I'd say there's probably 60, 70 G6 teams. 11th in all G6 in terms of returning production, 79%. So almost have 80% coming back, which is obviously best collection of talent in terms of Conference USA, but 11th out of everybody. However, I still think it's going to be a pretty rough year. DraftKings has them at 4, and I'm going to give them 5 just because of that 79% returning, even though they weren't that great last year. They grabbed the Delaware Hens running back, James Jones, who rushed for almost 1,000 yards, just about 40 yards short, averaging 9.8 a carry and 9 TDs. Damn. So another reason to go over 4. They might be able to reach a bowl this year. I think it's going to be a stretch, but I think five's a reasonable number. Power ranking 110, talent at 133, and strength of schedule at 107. Mike, I got them at 5 and 7.
Yeah, I got them right at that 4-win mark that DraftKings does. I got them at 4-8. Again, kind of a tough sledding schedule wise. They got to go to Florida State, to Hawaii. They get New Mexico off a bye, but unfortunately for them, a little bit of a recurring theme with some of these coaches. Their coach Tony Sanchez in his career is just 1-9 coming off a bye. He's 0-4 here at New Mexico State. They got Western Kentucky at home. They got Jacksonville State at home. They got to go down to FIU for a midweek game. Liberty at home. Delaware at home. I just don't think they're going to have the weapons to get it rolling this year. If I will say though, you mentioned James Jones, that running back that came over, absolutely electric. If he stays healthy and they give him some holes to run through, you could be looking at a team that could definitely get to a bowl game and shock some folks. But I just don't think that they have enough around him currently, which is unfortunate for him being his senior year. But you never know. Could find a way to get into that bowl game. I do have them at 4-8 though, and missing one this year.
All righty then. Next up, the Sam Houston Bearcats. Bearkats. Bearcats. So the Bearcats, they're doing a little bit of rebuilding, like from the whole foundation up. They are one of the 5 smallest football budgets in all of FBS. Ouch. Thus, my prediction of going one under what DraftKings says, and I got them at 2-10. Now, positive note, their stadium was under renovation last year. So they've completed that. So they're ready to go. They were traveling 70 miles one way to get to their stadium last year. So, that sucks. 70 miles. When you're carting a bunch of football players, all this stuff, my God, for a home game.
Yep.
So now they got the stadium, they're rolling there. They return only 57% of their production, which is an issue. I think it's going to be a tough year. I mean, their power ranking is 137 out of 140. Their talent is 126, and their strength of schedule is 90. So it's a little tougher than some of the others. So I think it's going to be a rough year down there in Bearcat with a K land. So, Mike, I got him at 2-10.
Yeah, I got them at 3-9, but I'm gonna tell you it was a tough 3 to get. They're gonna have to upset somebody that they're not supposed to win against. It's gonna be rough here for those Bearcats with a K. I'm with you. I just don't think they have enough around them right now. Maybe a year or two once they kind of get back rolling, get a little bit more comfortable into their current setting. But I just don't think it's going to be happening for them this year. I just can't see it. So I got them at 3-9, matching that DraftKings win total of 3.
All right. Well, here we are, bringing up the rear. Not a crappy team though. So we got this team's like always decent, after years and years, this team. We got the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, Mike. I've got them at 7-5, which means they could go down to 6. They could go up to 8 and be a contender. Could be. Coach Hilton, he attacked his biggest weakness this year, and that's his run game. He beefed up his O-line to help him with that run game. He got 4 Power 4 offensive linemen. So he was out there cherry picking. He got a kid named Rock Montgomery from Alabama. Man, even sloppy seconds or thirds from Alabama is probably pretty good for Western Kentucky. So that's the game plan. Run the damn ball. Make changes to the running game, which is what he needed to do. Receiving cores, the receiving core is the best in the league. I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but that's what the experts are saying at this point. So they got a receiving core they've beefed up that offensive line, so this offense should be in pretty decent shape. One of the issues is they only return 52% of their production, which is a little lower than average. Their power ranking is 94, talent at 86, strength of schedule at 87, meaning they got a pretty tough schedule for the Conference USA. But I still think they're going to come through with respectable 7-5 and possibilities if they get their shit together to be competing at the end at that 8 or 9 mark. So, what do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I got them at 8-4. So I think they're definitely going to compete potentially to play that Liberty squad here in the conference championship. Projected 8 seniors on the defensive side of the ball, which I love to see. Love to see some upperclassmen experience. My biggest thing you mentioned is the running game. A.J. Allen coming in from Tulsa, former Miami Hurricane running back. I've seen him play. The dude is a dog. He just needs the opportunity to do it. Unfortunately, he got pushed out of Miami just because there was too much around him. But he can tote the rock. If they find him some holes on that offensive side of the ball, they'll have some success. And I will give credit where credit is due. I know I've been harping a little bit on some of these coaches and their lack of success coming off a bye week. That is not the situation here with Tyson Helton. He is 14-4 in his 7 years at Western Kentucky coming off a bye. And this year, he gets Delaware at home off a bye on a Tuesday night. And I think they find a way to win that one and be in this Conference USA title contention run. But again, couple tough games to start their season. They got to go to Nevada week 1. They got to go to Georgia week 2. And by the way, week 3, they got to go up there and play Kurt Signetti and the Indiana Hoosiers for week 3. So that's a pretty brutal start to the season. I think they're able to turn it around after that, though, go on a nice little stretch of wins, put them together. They do end up having to play at Liberty as well. But other than that, you get through those first 3 games or so, and, sky's the limit for this squad. So if they find a way to win, maybe at Nevada as well, you could be looking at a team that could potentially have double-digit wins here and definitely make that Conference USA championship game to play against Liberty and maybe be a playoff contender if they can put it all together. So pretty high on the Hilltoppers this year. Again, you mentioned they just find a way to do it year in and year out. They are competitive, and I think that's no different this year.
Awesome. Well, folks, that's a wrap for Conference USA.
Flew through it, Dave. Flew through it.
CUSA. What?
Flew through it. Less than 35 minutes.
I know.
Look at that.
I like it. That was the
Dave.
model of efficiency. It was the model of efficiency, Mike. I love it.
Friday night energy right there, buddy.
Hey, and the cool thing about it is we were pretty damn close on almost everything. So I think you can take a lot from that as well. So we appreciate everybody listening tonight, joining in the chat. Probably going to have some folks listen later, and obviously all those folks on the podcast, man. Thanks so much for joining there. And pretty much we'd love you guys to give us comments as you move along. But from this side of things, subscribe. We love it. Mike's got the Conference USA numbers up right now, so I'll have a look at that. And I think there was a couple I made notes on that Mike and I feel strongly about. Probably the overs on Liberty and Delaware from what DraftKings is saying right now. I've added to my list that we might utilize later. But we appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody being on, and we still have left Mid-America Conference, the MAC. We got Sun Belt Conference, which will be interesting. We definitely probably won't be going tomorrow, but hopefully we can get something and maybe on Sunday squeeze something in and try to finish out before we get to next Wednesday, which is going to be that top 25. We'll look at who we think's going to go to the playoff, and then we're gonna deal with the Heisman Trophy possibilities as well. And I've got a gut pounding at me on a long shot too. We'll kind of give that one away, but that's kind of where we are, Mike. What do you think?
Yep, as Dave mentioned, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Hit that bell so you know when we are going live. Typically, we are live every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. during the season. But sometimes we might throw a couple sneak shows in there for you. So definitely make sure to get those notifications on. So if we go live, you can hop in the chat, let us know you're watching. Thank you again to all the people on the podcast. We love hearing from y'all as well. Once the season gets rolling, we'll have a couple things exclusive for our podcast people also. So if you're not tuned into the podcast yet, make sure you start doing that. A couple bonus things that we'll be talking about each week there. So definitely start checking that out if you haven't already. Dave, I appreciate you, sir. I hope you have a good rest of your Friday night, and we'll get this thing rolling back here Sunday.
Absolutely. And tomorrow night, we're going to do the Braves game with my grandson, Phineas Guerin. So looking forward to that there. Catch us, Finn. Catch us, buddy.